morning on the mat after a very rainy day yesterday. It's lovely to see the sun shining. So hopefully it will continue for the rest of the weekend. We are focusing on lower limbs this week. So when we talk about our lower limbs, we kind of have to think about really anything from the hips down. Okay, so if we just kind of focus on the actual legs themselves without thinking about what's going on with the hips, when you think about it, we're all connected. So if our hips aren't functioning, if they're not stable, if they're not strong, if they're not mobile, we're going to find that in our lower legs. Okay, we're going to find it in all our legs really. Okay, so any of those imbalances, and particularly in the feet. So our feet and ankles have a real direct relationship with our hips. So any instabilities, imbalances in the ankles, we're going to feel magnified in the hips. Okay, so if we're not kind of landing properly on our feet in our day to day, and the same goes for the hips. So any imbalances there are going to be transferred into our foundation. So again, we need to work it all as a one whole complex here. So a little bit of strengthening, a little bit of mobility, and then we'll tie it all together. So strong enough practice this morning. So a lot of us tend to be quite strong in the front of the body and a little bit weakened when it comes to the legs. So the quads can be a little bit dominant, whereas the hamstrings and the glutes and the calves can be a little bit tight and over-lengthened. So what we're going to do today is do a little bit stretching into the front of the legs to create that space so that we can engage with the backs of the legs. Okay? And I'll stop talking now. So come to a nice, comfortable, easy cross-legged if you can. We're going to open the palms to the ceiling, sit nice and tall, nice and strong. Again, try not to dump back into that lower back. So again, press the chest forward and really try to activate those core muscles to bring ourselves to a nice strong seat here. We're going to inhale the arms out, reach it up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling, and then exhale, press the palms forward, really release between those shoulder blades. So we're going to do that twice more. So all the time thinking about lengthening through the spine as we inhale, and then releasing through the upper body as we exhale. We do one more breath here. So nice big circle, as large as we can. And then exhale, release. Lovely. We're going to rest the palms just above the knees, nice and gently. And then we're going to press the chest as far to the right as we can. So we're kind of hinging forward from the lower back. And then we're going to draw the chest forward to the center and then all the way over to the left. And then as we exhale, we're going to curl through the spine and tuck the chin in. So we're inhaling the body forward and round. Keep it low as possible, and then exhale, curl through the spine, release through the shoulders. So just to your own breath, make those circles as big as we can. Try to hinge the body forward as much as we can, so we feel a little release into the glute and lower back here as well. So chin tucks in as we draw back, gaze goes forward as we roll forward. And try to make those circles, really exaggerate the movement. Draw the body as far to the right as you can, as far to the left, and then really roll through that upper back. And then we're going to reverse that motion wherever we're at. So coming from the other direction, and just even notice if it's a little bit easier. So again, starting slow. If you want to get a little bit faster, you can if it feels good. It's a lovely little energetic movement as well. So if you're ever feeling a little bit stagnant, coming to the mat and doing a few little twists into the spine, but incorporating that lovely chest opening, releasing through those shoulders. One more nice big circle wherever we're at. Lovely. And then meeting back in center. Excellent. We're going to extend the legs out in front. Just make sure you have a towel within reach here. Get nice and comfy in the sit bones, so we might need to remove the flesh out a little bit just so we feel nice and grounded. We're going to hug the right knee in just until the foot's in line with the left knee, and then shift the hips forward to beat it so we can keep that nice length in the spine. Crossing the right leg over the left. Keep that left leg extended, draw the toes toward the face. If you want to go a little bit deeper into the hips, we might bend the left knee and tuck that heel nice and close to the bum, but again, make sure both hips are grounded evenly. Extend the left arm out. We're going to wrap it around that right leg and feel a nice little release into the right glute here. Inhale, right arm up. And as we exhale, twist as deeply as we can to the right, resting the heel of that right hand nice and close to the lower back. Inhale, lengthen nice and tall. And as we exhale, take a look over that right shoulder, trying to engage that right shoulder muscle to really open into the chest here. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist a little bit more. Again, to your own breath. Just releasing through the spine, starting at the lower, working all the way up to the neck. And again, if we want to work in those lower limbs, we need to make sure the whole body is nice and mobile. So if we're holding tension in any part of the body, and then we're trying to engage in another, everything's going to be acting against each other. So trying to keep that mobility, the whole length of the body. Lovely. Slowly inhale back to center, small little micro twist to the left, just to release it. And then back to center again. If the heel's tucked in, we're going to extend that leg out. Hug the right knee in, give it a nice little squeeze into the body. And then we're going to rest the sole of the foot to the inner thigh or inner calf. Again, if you need to regrind those sit bones, get nice and comfy. Little bend to the knee here, we're going to reach for our towel. And we're going to wrap it around the ball of that left foot. So we're going to be working into the hamstrings here. If you know already that you've got a little tear in the hamstring or you're recovering, or you know the muscles overlengthened, keep a bend to the knee. We're going to turn the body gently toward that left foot. So slight little movement here. Inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, we're going to press away through the heel and draw the toes toward the face. And that might be as far as we go this morning. So we should be feeling this very much into the calf. If we're feeling into the hamstring, it's just a gentle stretch into the belly of the hamstring. So at this stage, if it's underneath the knee or the sit bone, don't go any further. We're going to inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, draw the chest forward toward that foot, but try to keep drawing those shoulders back. So we're trying not to round into the upper back here. Maybe walk the hands toward the foot. See if we can tuck the belly button in and create a little bit more space for that fold to happen. So we're inhale, lengthening, exhale, fold. Again, you can keep it passive or active. If you want to bring it active, we're inhaling, lengthening, and exhaling, fold. If you want to keep it passive, you just stay here in the fold, working with the breath, working with gravity. And again, don't force those muscles up, particularly first thing in the morning. It's just a nice gentle release. And feel free to keep a little bend to the knee if it's not feeling so good. Just focus it in then on that lower part of the leg. Relax with the breath. One more breath here. And then slowly inhale back to center. We can release the tail away. Right hand comes behind us, fingertips point back. We're going to inhale, left arm up. And as we exhale, press the hips toward the ceiling. As we press the right hand, right knee, left foot into the ground. Reach back really actively through those left fingertips. We're going to hold it here. Press the hips skyward. Try to engage the belly muscles for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly release back to the ground. Right leg comes out to meet left, same thing on the other side. So again, regrind those sit bones. We're going to hug the left knee in just until the foot's in line with the knee, then shift those hips forward to meet it. Keeping that nice strength in the spine. Cross the left leg over the right. And again, you can keep that foot out there, just draw the toe toward the face, or you can tuck that heel in toward that left sit bone. Just make sure you're nice and even here. Inhale, extend out through those right fingertips. We're going to wrap the arm around the leg and then feel that lovely release into the left glute. And again, you might even stay here. Otherwise, inhale, left arm up. And as we exhale, twist as deeply as we can to the left. Rest in the heel of that left hand, nice and close to the lower back. Inhale, lengthen tall through the spine. And as we exhale, see if we can twist ourselves a little bit more, maybe even walking those fingertips around the body. Draw the heart open, really engage that left shoulder muscle. Feel that nice little stretch into the right side of the neck here as well. And all the time hugging that leg into the body. Enjoying that release in the glutes because we're going to be engaging them quite a little bit this morning. We're trying to. Again, lengthening as we inhale, releasing as we exhale. One more breath here. And then slowly inhale back to center, small little micro twist to the right, and then back to center again. If the heel's tucked in, we're going to tuck it out. Again, hug that left knee into the body, nice little squeeze, and then rest the sole of that left foot to the inner thigh, inner calf, regrind those sit bones. Little bend to the knee, we're going to reach for the towel again, and again, being conscious of those hamstrings. Holding on to either end of the towel, we're going to turn the body toward that right foot, inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, press away through the heel and draw the toes toward the face. So if that feels good and we're feeling nice and strong, just stay here. Just work with the nice lower leg stretch a little bit into the hamstring. Otherwise, we're going to inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, press the chest forward. So we're not thinking about touching the toe. We're trying to bring that chest toward the foot. maybe walk the hands along. You might even shift that leg back into the hip joint a little bit. So shift that right leg back a little bit. It might give you a wee bit more space to work here. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Relax the head, relax the neck, maybe even close down the eyes and just really touch into how that feels within the body. So as I say, in the hamstring, you should just feel it in the belly of the muscle, that nice fleshy part in the middle. Anywhere else, just bring a gentle bend to the knee and work it more into the lower leg. So often those hamstrings are over lengthened. It can feel tight. So it's generally related to if we have very tight hips, the pelvis might tilt forward a little bit. And then that puts a little bit of pressure on the lower back. It doesn't allow us to engage our tummy muscles or our glutes. And then our hamstrings, because of that little tilt, they're actually becoming over lengthened. Okay, so what feels like a really tight muscle can in fact already be over lengthened. So for us to stretch into it, we're not going to be doing ourselves any good at all. Okay, but we can still work on the structures around it. We can still stretch into the calf, maybe a little bit into the glute. And then slowly release. Again, bringing the towel off to the side. We're going to bring that left hand behind, fingertips point back. Inhale, right arm up. And as we exhale, press the hips toward the ceiling. As we press the left hand, left knee, right foot into the ground, extend really actively back through those right fingertips. Maybe take the gaze back. Again, see if you can engage those tummy muscles. So almost imagine somebody's about to drop a ball on your tummy and you're trying to resist. Press the hips a little bit more. Reach back through the fingertips for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly release back down onto the ground. Crisscrossing with the ankles, we're going to turn and lie back on our mats. Again, just make sure you have your towel and a block, if you have it, beside you. Lying onto the mat, feet are flat, knees are bent to start with. And just see if you can really ground that lower back into the mat. Feel that full connection of the spine onto the ground. We're going to hug the right knee in, extend out fully through that left foot. Really hug that right knee into the body. Give it a nice little squeeze. We're just going to hold it here for a couple of more breaths. Releasing into our hip flexors, a little bit into the hamstring here. Lovely. So keeping that right knee in, we're going to reach for our towel and we're going to wrap it around the back of that right hamstring. So again, the larger surface area, the better, so that we're not kind of putting any pressure on the belly of the muscle here. And then from here, we're going to tuck those elbows in toward the waist. We're going to press the hamstring into the towel just until that right knee is stacked over the hip. So we've got nice 90-degree angles here. And then from here, we're going to extend that right foot up toward the ceiling, pressing the heel away and drawing those toes toward the face. So we're working into a little gentle hamstring stretch, but we're using a nice little activation. So it's a very strong, engaged movement here. And again, we can stay here. So ideally, we're looking for about an 80 to 90 degree rise there with the legs. We want to keep that left hip grounded. So if you find the left hip is off the ground, you can always bend the left knee. Okay, so we can reconnect that lower back. We can stay here. Otherwise, we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to gently lower that leg toward the ground. But as we do so, we're pulling on the towel. So we're trying to resist that movement. So we're engaging the muscle to work against that pull. And then inhale back. This time we're pressing the hamstring into the towel. So again, resisting the movement all the time. So strong engagement as we work into that stretch. Exhale, lower. So continue with your own breath. And again, it's a very slow movement. We're using that towel to resist the movement, trying to increase our range a little bit, but again, we're not forcing it. So it's a very safe way of working into the hamstring, a lot less likely to overstretch. And we're also strengthening those muscles around while we work into that mobility. Again, notice if that left hip is popping off the ground, bend the left knee. So I want you to really have that nice stability in the lower back. And then in time, hopefully when the hips get a little bit looser, you'll be able to straighten that leg out. So if the hip flexors are a wee bit tight, keeping that hip rounded as we work into our hamstring can be a little bit challenging. And then we're going to meet with our leg extended up and then the knee into the chest. If the left knee is not already bent, we're going to bend it, and then we're going to rest the right ankle just above the left knee, coming into our figure 4. So again, we're drawing the right toe toward the knee, we're pressing the knee away from the body, and we're grounding that lower back into the mat. We might even stay here if that feels enough this morning. Otherwise, we're going to inhale the left foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling, and either interlocking the hands behind the back of the hamstring, or if you find you're rocking and rolling into the lower back, or you're curling into the chest, you can use your towel, wrap it around the back of the hamstring as a little extension of the arm. So it just allows you to reconnect that lower back. As we inhale, see if we can walk the shoulder blades together, really open into the heart. And as we exhale, working that left knee toward the body as we gently work the right knee away from the body. So we're working into that right hip and glute here. Relax the chest, really draw those shoulders back. Feel that nice space into the front of the body. And every exhale, we're working a little bit deeper, but again, we're not forcing it. Keep the right foot nice and active here, protecting that right knee. And again, we can stay here, or if you wish to join me, we're going to inhale, point the left foot up toward the ceiling, really stretch it into the front of the foot. And as we exhale, draw the toes toward the face. So we're going to do that a few times with our own breath, just working a little bit of movement, a little bit of mobility into those ankles. So these ankle mobilizers are excellent for developing the muscles in the lower legs, the feet, the ankles. So you should find this all the way up to the knee with the movement. So really exaggerate the movement. And then we're going to make a few nice big circles to the right. So we're trying to make them as slow and as circular and as smooth as we can, trying to get rid of any niggles, any little resistances to the movement. So again, just checking in with our foundations. And even just noticing those little niggles or points of resistance to the movement. We're going to reverse those circles. And often we're not even aware what's going on with the feet. We spend so much time on them. Lovely. And then come to rest. We're going to gently rest the left foot down. Staying in our figure 4. So we did a little soft tissue release there on Tuesday. If you were with me, we're going to do similar here, but we're going to stay in our figure 4. We're going to point the right toes. So like a little ballerina, point the toes. We're going to get our 2 thumbs and we're going to place them just between the Achilles and the little bony part of the ankle. And then we're going to kind of pull the tissue away from the heel. Okay, so in the direction of the knee. So we're going to inhale here as we point, lock in the thumbs, and as we exhale, we're going to draw that right toe toward the knee and feel a little stretch happen here. And then inhale, point. We're going to work those thumbs along the muscle toward the knee, just a little bit, about a half an inch, an inch. And then exhale, toe to knee. We're going to work the whole way up the muscle here. So we're inhaling, pointing, working away from the muscle, locking the thumbs in, and then exhale, draw the toe toward the knee. And again, you decide on the pressure. So the nice thing of these self-massage techniques is you can decide on the pressure. Easy enough one to do on the lower legs and the forearms, not so much on the larger muscles of the body. You might need somebody else to help you out there. But again, it's a lovely way to just release the muscle without kind of going into a full-on stretch. And sometimes if we're not too sure how those muscles feel, or maybe they're so knotty, they're so tight, that the stretch just isn't really cutting it. So again, so I'm just gliding the thumbs up. It's kind of easier if it's skin on skin contact, or if you find your skin, if you're after using moisturizer or something, that might be so great. So you want to have a little bit of friction there so that the thumbs aren't moving as you lock into the muscle. So all the way up till we're nearly at the knee here. Don't put any pressure in underneath the knee itself. So we're just working to just below the knee joint. And then wherever we're at, we just knee that muscle out. So again, something you can do in your own time. So just gently, finger pads and thumbs, working our way up and down the muscle, just loosening out the tissue. Excellent. We're going to place that right foot down. We're going to hug the left knee into the body, giving a nice little squeeze, extend out fully through that right foot. We're going to hold that knee in, again, really drawing it into the body until we feel a little stretch into the hip flexor and into that hamstring, just a little bit. Hold it here for 3, for 2, And one. From here, we're going to reach for a towel again. We're going to wrap it around the back of that left hamstring. Again, nice wide surface area here with our towel, making it as comfy as we can. And then we're going to press the hamstring into the towel until that left knee is stacked just over the left hip. So again, nice 90-degree angles at the hip and at the knee. And then from here, extend that left foot up toward the ceiling. We're pressed away through the heel, we're drawing the toes toward the face. And already we should feel a nice little stretch depending on how much we flex those toes into the calf, a little bit into the hamstring. And again, we're just focusing on that fleshy part of that hamstring. So again, if it's too strong already, you can drop the leg a little bit, you can bring a little bend to the knee, but we can still work through that movement. So we're inhaling the foot up, and as we exhale, gently lower, but we're pulling on the towel so that we're resisting that lowering of the leg. Inhale up, again, this time we're pressing the hamstring into the towel as we try to lift that leg up. And then exhale, lower. So you're going to work with your own breath here. Everyone's going to be very different with how resistant they can make that movement. So it's a very strong, controlled movement. Maybe getting a little bit of mobility with each inhale, maybe not. Again, don't force it, just wherever the body feels like going. But again, it's a lovely engaged movement. And again, if you find that right hip is coming off the ground, feel free to bend the right knee, just so that we can reconnect that lower back, that lower part of the body into the ground. So again, if the hamstrings or the hips are particularly tight, that right leg, that right hip is going to want to come off the ground. So again, it's not that we're ignoring it, but we're just trying to make our stretch a little bit more accessible, and then in time, when those structures loosen out, we'll be able to get that hip to land itself down. Last one up, wherever we're at. Lovely. And we're going to hug the left knee in. We can leave the towel off to the side. Bend the right knee, bring the foot flat to the ground, and we're going to rest that left ankle just above the right knee, coming into our figure four. So again, drawing the toes toward the knee, working the left knee away from the body, rounding that lower back into the mat. So feeling that lovely space already. If you want to join me, we're going to inhale the right foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling, and again, either interlocking the hands or towel around the back of that right hamstring. Working the shoulder blades together, opening into the heart as we inhale, and as we exhale, work that right knee a little bit closer toward the body as we work the left knee away from the body. And again, just even notice how that feels comparing to the other side. So I'm already feeling a little bit tighter on this side. Again, something I wasn't aware of. So that's a new one. So again, sometimes it's just going through these little slower engaged poses, and we can really check in with what's happening in the body. We can notice the imbalances. And again, sometimes it can be just the way we sat that day, how we slept that night. But if it's something that keeps coming up, that's when we need to start looking at it. Or if it's causing us pain, it's causing us issues within the body. From here, we're going to inhale, point the right foot up toward the ceiling, really stretch into the front of the foot. And as we exhale, draw the toes toward the face. So again, with your own breath, pointing and flexing, really slow. And again, the more you exaggerate the movement, the more you're going to feel it all the way up toward the knee. So really working into those lower leg muscles. And then we're going to make a few nice big circles to the right. Again, as circular as we can. Well, there's definitely something going on with this side this morning. I've got triangles. So again, trying to make those circles as smooth as we can, trying to iron out all those niggles if we can with that movement. And then reverse it in the other direction. So often it can be, you might have had a little niggle, I know in my case, on the left side, and then you've started to compensate with your right side. So then the left side starts to feel great again. And then the right side's going, oh, wait a minute. So again, that's those instabilities. So that transfer. Lovely. Great. We're going to rest the right foot down. Staying in our figure four, a little soft tissue release on the other side. So again, staying in our figure four, nice and gentle. We're going to point the left foot We're going to get those thumbs and we're going to lock them in between that bony part of the ankle and the Achilles. So there's a little kind of crevice here. And then we're going to pull the tissue away from the heel as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to draw that left toe toward the knee and feel a little stretch. So inhale, point, glide those thumbs up the muscle a little bit, lock in. Exhale, toe to knee. We're going to work the whole way up the muscle here. So try not to allow those thumbs to move. Once they're locked in and they're pulling the tissue away from the heel. Okay, so they're pulling the tissue away from where we want to feel that stretch. And again, just go as deep as feels good to you. Don't overdo it. Don't put too much pressure. And generally, depending on where that tightness is, often it's in that kind of bally part of the calf here. It might feel a little bit tender to put that pressure in. So just back off on the pressure, don't force it. Once you're getting a nice little release, and then over time, you might do it a few times, working along the muscle. It's a lovely thing to do actually into the plantar fascia here as well, just when I think. Okay. And then wherever we're at, we're just going to knead that calf muscle out. So just kind of pulling the flesh away from the bone, using the finger pads and thumb, working our way up and down the muscle. Almost like you're just kneading a loaf of bread. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to place that left foot down to meet the right. We're going to go through a few little bit of bridge work here to work into that hamstring and glute engagement. So that's what we want to strengthen into the backs of the legs and stretch a little bit as we do into the fronts of the legs. So setting up for our bridge, feet are grounded, knees are about a fist between them. If you have a block, you can always place it between the knees and just press the knees into the block and feel those inner thighs engage here. Hands are flat to the mat, fingertips point to the front of the mat, and see if we can brush the backs of the heels with the fingertips. As we inhale, we're going to peel the lower back, middle back, upper back off the ground, lift the hips, gently walk the shoulder blades together. So we're taking the pressure off the neck. We're pressing hands, arms, shoulders into the ground. How do you know you're doing this right? If you're putting pressure on the neck, it's going to be really hard to talk, okay? So that's a good tester. So if that's happening, just see if you can walk those shoulders in a little bit closer so that you can take all that pressure off the neck. And we're just going to hold it here for a couple of breaths. So again, if the block is there, we're pressing the knees into the block. Otherwise, we're lifting the hips toward the ceiling. Feel the hamstrings, feel the glutes engage. As we inhale, we're going to come up onto the balls of the feet, activating those calf muscles. As we exhale, we're going to land and come onto the heels of the feet. Really press the heels into the ground and feel those hamstrings activate a little bit more. So inhale, balls of the feet. Exhale, heels. Each time we're pressing those heels really actively into the ground. Try to keep the hips lifted so we're staying in our bridge the whole time. So this is quite a strong little activator here, particularly for those hamstrings as we come onto the heels. Balls of the feet, we're working into the calves, but really we're just giving those hamstrings a little break in between. Try to keep the tummy muscles active so that we're not compressing into that lower back. Last one, wherever we're at. And then flatten out through the feet. We're going to gently release the back down onto the mat, nice and slowly. Bring the block out of the way. We're going to bring the feet nice and wide, allow the knees knock together. Open the arms into cactus arms. So walk those shoulder blades together. Make sure the hands are connected to the ground. And just gently windscreen wiper the knees side to side. And as we do so, we're looking out over the opposite shoulder. So again, just kneading it out, really pressing the lower back and glutes into the ground to give them a little break here. And then when you're ready, we're going to rock it back to center. Okay, second little one in our sequence. We're going to bring the knees together, feet together, still setting up for our bridge here, but without that gap between the knees. Okay, we're going to place the hands flat, fingertips point to the front, see if we can brush roughly the backs of our heels here. We're going to inhale, peel lower back, middle back, upper back, off the ground. Lift the hips as high as you can. Walk the shoulder blades together. Press the arms, press the hands, press the shoulders into the ground. And again, you can stay here if this feels good. Otherwise, we're going to keep the knees together, but we're going to extend that right foot out and draw the right toes toward the face, but try to keep those hips lifted. So what happens here is generally the hips will want to drop and that leg is going to pop up, but we're going to try to keep those hips lifted. And again, we can hold it here, or we can inhale, and as we exhale, gently lower the bum toward the mat, hovering about ½ inch off the ground. Inhale, press the hips up, keep those knees glued together. Exhale, gently lower. Again, continue with your own breath. So you're going to feel this hamstring, glutes, lower back, core. You're going to feel it in the legs. Try to keep those tummies engaged. Again, if you really want to focus on that hamstring, pressure is into the left heel. Really strong connection here. Last one. And then meeting back in our bridge with both feet on the ground. We're going to go straight over to the other side. So again, just reconnecting with our bridge. If you need to touch down, just to reconnect with your breath and then come back up. Knees together, feet together, extend that left foot out. Again, we might just stay here if that feels good. Draw the left toe toward the face, lifting the hips, inhale here, exhale, gently lower to we're about ½ inch off the ground. Inhale, press up, core engagement, glutes, hamstring, exhale, gently lower. Again, continue with your own breath. So just isolating one side at a time can make those hamstrings work just a little bit more. So again, if it's too much, you can always keep both feet grounded and work through the same movement. You're not going to feel it as strong, but you're still working a lovely bit of strength into those hamstrings and core in general. Last one, wherever we're at, planting that left foot down to meet right, and then slowly lowering all the way down to the ground. Bring the feet wide, allow the knees knocked together, arms out into cactus arms. And again, just gently windscreen wiper in the knees side to side, taking the gaze the opposite direction. So just kneading it out, really pressing the lower back and glutes into the ground, a little massage using the earth. Relax the breath. And then gently meeting back in center. So there's one last one I'm going to do in the sequence. Now, not everyone's going to be able to do it. If you have a shiny floor, shiny surface floor, you'll be able to do it. So there needs to be a little bit of movement on the floor. So if you don't, you can still just practice your bridge pose, but I do want to show you this pose because it's an amazing one for working into our hamstrings. So I'm going to show it to you. So we want to have the mat for a little bit of friction on the upper body, but we want to make sure that the feet are off the mat. So I'm going to start by lying back onto the mat so that my feet are off the mat, my body's on the mat. So I have nice friction with the mat. And then I'm going to place the heels onto that towel. So we'll start in a normal bridge, okay? So again, if we have a carpet, it's going to be a little bit difficult unless it's a particularly slippy one. So if you're just, we can all set up for the pose. So we're just going to gently peel lower back, middle back, upper back off the ground. So coming into our traditional bridge. So if you don't have the slippy surface, you can just stay here in your traditional bridge. But this is one you can do when you do get that shiny surface. Okay, so we start here, and then we're going to gently come onto the heels and slowly bringing the feet together. We're going to slide those heels out as far as we can go. And then inhale, drag the heels back. Coming back into our bridge, and then exhale, bring the heels out. Okay, so it's a little bridge glide here. And as you draw those heels back toward the bum, you're going to really feel those hamstrings activate. So it's a really good one for working strength into the backs of the legs. Important thing here is to keep the hips lifted. So again, if you don't have that shiny surface, you're just staying in your traditional bridge here. And try to have both heels parallel as we come in and out. So if one's kind of tracking forward of the other, we're not going to get that same balance within the muscles. Last one, wherever you're at. Meeting back in bridge, wherever we're at, and then gently, we're going to release back down onto the mat. And then from here, bring the feet wide, knees knocked together, arms in cactus. And one last time, just gently rocking the knees side to side, maybe taking the gaze over the opposite direction. So again, just one to practice in your own time to work into those hamstrings. And then coming back to center. So I'm just going to make my way back to the mat. You can drop the towel off to the side for now. We're going to hug both knees into the chest. Give them a nice little squeeze. Crisscross at the ankles. And again, you can make your way anyway to seat. If you want to join me, I'm going to rock and roll forward and back along the mat, using that motion to massage the full length of the spine into the ground. Nice and controlled, core engaged. And when you're ready, we're going to meet up in seat at the front of the mat. We're going to bring the hands to the front, stepping back onto the knees into a nice strong tabletop. Shoulders over elbows over wrists. Elbow creases face forward. We're going to press the ground away, really active. Feel the shoulder muscles engaged. So we don't want this to happen, that we're dumping into the shoulders, nice and strong. Knees are about hip-width distance apart, hips are over the knees, and we're going to gently draw that belly button towards the back of the spine. And then inhale, draw the chest forward as we take the gaze up, arching through the spine. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, take the gaze back toward the belly. Inhale, gaze goes forward and up, arching the spine. Exhale, pressing into the ground, release as we tuck the chin into the chest. So continue with your own breath, little cat-cow curls, front to back. Maybe close down the eyes and just really enjoy that movement within the body. So freeing up the spine, freeing up the core structures, releasing with each breath. And again, really exaggerate that movement. So I think I've mentioned this before, you really can't do too many of these. There's just a really lovely way of energizing and opening up that spine, keeping a little bit of movement, a little bit of flow within the body. And whenever you're ready, we're going to meet back, inner tabletop at center. Bringing the hands out front, so slightly in front of the body. We're going to tuck the toes under, gently press the ground away, press back through the heels. Rest the head down between the arms. Doesn't have to rest on the ground. If it does, let it. So press it back through the heels. We should feel a nice little stretch into the arches of the feet. And we're just going to wiggle through the toes here as well. So bring a little bit of mobility into those toe joints. Again, really actively pressing the ground away, drawing the chest toward the mat. When you're ready, we're going to press the finger pads and knuckles into the ground, gently hover the knees off the mat. So feet are about hip-width distance, a little bit wider apart. And then we're going to lift the hips toward the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to draw those heels down toward the ground. So pressing the ground away out front, we're going to draw the chest toward the mat. Looking back toward the knees, maybe even toward the belly. Relax the head, relax the neck. Lift the hips a little bit higher. And then lower those heels a little bit lower. And we're just going to gently paddle out the feet. So allow opposite heels melt toward the ground. Again, a nice way of just gently easing out the muscles in the backs of the legs. And then when you're ready, come to stillness. We're going to look forward between the hands, gently walk to the front of the mat, nice and slowly. Coming into a nice, loose, gentle forward fold. So allow the knees, relax, head, shoulders, arms, lower back, release. For 2 and 1. Gently tuck the chin in. We're going to slowly make our way all the way up to stand. Head comes up last. Nice and flowy for the last bit here. So again, take a drink if you need it. And when you're ready, we're going to meet at the front of the mat. Feet about hip-width distance apart, hands to heart. And again, I want you to feel all corners of the feet into the ground. So really spread through the toes, draw the balls of the feet toward the heels, and then spread the feet nice and wide. So feel that full connection of the feet to the ground. Hands to heart. Draw the chest forward, draw the shoulders back, engage the tummy muscles. Inhale, arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, we're going to drop the right knee down. From here, we're going to get the left forearm and we're going to place it behind the left knee. And then from here, we're going to draw the left knee forward of that left foot. So usually I'd say keep the left knee over the ankle. This time, because we've taken that arm underneath the joint, we're not going to compress. So we're drawing that left knee over the foot until we start to feel that left heel coming off the ground. So we're working into a little stretch into the calf, getting a little bit into Achilles. So Achilles more tendon. We're going to feel a little release here. We're just going to hold it here for a couple of breaths. So again, by placing that forearm underneath the knee joint, you could do the same with a towel. It's just taking the pressure off the joint, so we're not compressing here too much. We should feel a nice little stretch into the front of the leg here as well. So if you suffer from like shin splints, tib post, anything like that, this is a nice little stretch just to release. And then release. Knee back over the ankle, hands planted, where we're going to come off that knee. Step the left foot back to meet right. Hold it here. Nice strong plank. Press the ground away. Press back through the heels if the knees are lifted. If the knees are on the ground, keep the core strong. Keep that bum nice and low. Hold for 3. Press the ground away for 2. And 1. Exhale. Knees, chest, chin to the ground. Elbows in. Roll the heart forward onto the toes. Press the feet into the ground as we draw those shoulder blades back. Exhale. Tuck the toes. Press the ground away. Lift the hips. Downward dog, walk it out, nice and easy. And again, really use our downward dog to create that nice little bit of space into the backs of the legs. We have full control here, so don't overdo it, just go as far as feels good. Coming back into our downward dog, we're going to inhale the right leg up, looking forward, stepping right foot into lunge, coming high onto the fingertips, pressing back through the left heel. Engage the core. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up, lifting, palms together, high lunge. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to interlock the fingers, place them just above that right knee. Inhale, lengthen nice and tall. As we exhale, we're going to bend a little bit more. See if we can shift that left foot back and come a little bit lower into our lunge. Again, if you need to drop that left knee down, listen to the body. Ideally, we want that right knee lined up with the middle toe on the right foot. We also want that hamstring and quad almost parallel to the ground and ceiling. That's where we're going for. If it feels too strong in the knee, just gently back off. So we're inhaling, pressing the hands into the leg, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, gently lower. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently frame that right foot. We're going to step the left foot up to meet right and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge this time, dropping left knee down. We're going to get that right forearm. We're going to hook it in underneath that right knee joint. And then gently shift the weight forward so that the knee is coming forward of the foot until that right heel feels like it wants to come off the ground, but we're not going to let it. Okay, we're just going to hold it here for a couple of breaths. So you should be feeling this into calf, a little bit into Achilles, a little bit into the shin, or the muscle around the shin, should I say. And again, just relax. And even having that arm where it's at, you're going to feel a little bit of a massage into the calf. So if the calf is particularly tight or tender, you will definitely feel a little release here just from where that arm is. For 2, and 1. Gently come back. Right knee is over the ankle again. Placing both hands either side of the foot. Lifting off the left knee, step right foot back to meet left into a nice strong plank. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground, and roll the shoulders back. We're going to release the forearms onto the ground here, and then we're going to bring both forearms out in front, almost like we're setting up to make a little pillow. Okay, so we're going to work a little bit into the quad muscles here. So we're going to start with the knees together. We're going to keep the left forearm parallel to the front of the mat. We're going to bend the right knee, so we're bringing that heel toward the bum. but all the time we want to keep those knees together. From here, reach the right arm forward and then reach back to catch hold of that right foot. Okay, so again, knees are still glued together. We're going to press the foot into the hand. So if we can't reach back, you could use a towel, you could use a strap to do the same movement. And again, on the forearm, we can keep the chest lifted here. So pressing the foot into the hand, we're going to hold it here. Feel that engagement in the hamstring, a little stretch into the quad for 3, for 2, and 1. You can stay here if you want to get a little bit more. We're going to lift the knee off the ground, but keep the knee in. So it's not, we're not pulling it out to the right. Again, press foot into hand for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the knee, release the foot. Right forearm replaces left forearm. We're going to work the same on the other side. So again, we're going to bend the left knee, bringing the heel toward the bum, and that in itself is a nice little release. Extend left arm out, reach back to catch hold of the left foot. And again here, so we're drawing that left shoulder forward, we're pressing the foot into the hand. So again, we're engaging the hamstring as we work into stretching the quad. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Again, you can stay here for the next few breaths, or if you want to lift that left knee off the ground, but keep the knee in for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently release. Release the foot. Both forearms come back to the front. This time we're going to do both at once. So we're going to bend both knees, bringing the heels toward the bum. We're going to reach forward with both arms and then bring them back to catch hold of the feet from the outside. So we're going to start with the knees together, but as we start to lift the body, you will find those knees will come apart. So just go as far as it feels good to you. So to start with, we might draw the chest forward, draw the shoulder blades together, and then gently, we're going to lift those knees off the ground, coming into a little bow pose here. So all the time, pressing the feet into the hands, lifting the chest. Try to keep the tummy muscles engaged. So we are back bending here, but we're not wanting to compress too much into the lower back. Hold it here. Lift for 3, lift for 2, and 1. Gently release, let it go. Bringing those hands back out in front. Make a little pillow with the hands, rest the head, and just gently rock the hips side to side, releasing the lower back here. Just giving it a wee break. Lovely. Coming back to center. We're going to bring those hands back in line with the chest. Tuck the toes under. We're going to press the ground away. Work it back into our downward dog and just gently walk it out here. Nice and easy. Relax the head, relax the neck. Draw that breath nice and deep into the belly. So again, checking in, are we breathing? Is it getting caught up in the chest? So full engagement here. Coming to stillness, we're going to inhale the left leg up, looking forward, stepping the left foot into lunge. High on the fingertips. We're going to press back through that right heel. We might even stay here if that feels good. Otherwise, inhale, arms out, reaching up. Hands together. Exhale, hands to heart. Interlock the fingers, place them just above the left knee. Again, try to get that left knee stacked over the ankle wherever we're at. We're going to inhale, rise as we press the hands into the leg. And then exhale, allow those hips release toward the ground. So again, if you need to come down onto the right knee, listen to the body. Otherwise, knee is lifted, we're pressing back through the heel. We're inhaling, lengthening, engaging those core muscles. Exhale, gently lower. Hold it here, but not the breath. For 3, for 2, and 1. Gently release the hands onto the ground. We're going to step that right foot up to meet left. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. From here, we're going to step back on the mat a little bit, just so we have a wee bit of space out in front. So about a third to halfway down our mat. To start with, feet are together, knees are together. So again, still working into those quads. We're going to bend the right knee and bring the heel toward the bum as much as we can, keeping the knees together. We're going to extend the right arm out in front and then reach back to catch hold of the inner arch of the foot. So we're not catching from the outside. See if we can wrap the hand so that the thumb is rested on the ball of the foot and the arch, the inner arch, is rested into the palm of the hand. Okay? We're going to extend that left arm out in front, pressing index finger and thumb together. From here, we're going to press the foot into that hand to start with, and that might be enough. Try to keep both hips face forward so we're not rotating out to the right here. And again, if we can, we're going to lift that right knee back. So not out to the right, keeping it nice and narrow, keeping the body nice and narrow, pressing the foot into the hand, lifting for as far as we can go. When we can't go any further, we're going to gently hinge from the waist. Again, really reaching through that left arm, pressing that foot back, really challenging on that standing leg. If you fall out, just come back in. Keep trying for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently come back to center, knees back together. We're going to inhale the right knee forward. Hug the right knee into the chest. Nice squeeze. And then exhale, we're going to release back onto the ball of that right foot. Step that left foot forward a little bit. And we're going to drop the right heel down. So we're coming into our warrior 2 lunge here. So again, left heel bisects the arch of the back foot. Left knee is trapped over the middle toe, so it's not dropping into the right here. If the hips are tight, that's what's going to happen. So again, keeping strong, keep the hips wide, draw the inner thighs together. We're going to extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down, draw the shoulders back. Nice and strong here in the core. Inhale, lengthen into the front leg, bring the arms together overhead, gaze goes up, palms together. Exhale, bend into the left knee, warrior 2 lunge. Inhale, lengthen and rise. Exhale, bend, lowering into our lunge. So again, with your own breath, if you want to challenge the balance, we might bring our focus to the middle finger on that left hand. So a changing point of focus. Again, if that feels too strong, just take your gaze wherever feels good, that you feel nice and stable in the movement. So really press that right foot into the ground. Keep drawing those inner thighs toward each other so we're not overdoing it at any stage. Nice and strong, nice and controlled. Last one, wherever we're at. We're going to meet back in our warrior 2. From here, we're going to bring the hands to the waist. We're going to step that right foot so it's only about 2 feet behind the front foot. And then we're going to walk that left foot to the outside of the mat. And then we're going to turn the body so that both feet are facing the front of the mat. Okay, so there's about 2 foot between the heel of the front foot and the toe of the back foot. Hands to heart. And just calm the mind here. So we should already feel a little stretch into the calf. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, we're going to twist as much as we can to the left. And then we're going to rest the back of that right hand to the outside of the left leg. So wherever it lands, it could be the thigh, it could be the calf, it could be the ankle. We're going to bring that left hand to rest on the hip, and we're going to draw the heart open. So really draw that shoulder back. So again, we're sliding the back of that hand down the outer leg, but we're trying to keep the body nice and narrow, working into a twist. We're really going to find that in the back leg here as well for 3. Gaze goes over the shoulder for 2. And 1, gently release back to center. We're going to step that right leg back into our warrior. Extend both arms out. Cartwheel both hands either side of the left foot. Stepping right foot up to meet left. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. Same little sequence on the other side. So again, make sure you have a little bit of space out in front. Feet are together, knees are together to start with. We're going to bend that left knee, draw the heel toward the bum. Extend the left arm out in front, reach back to catch hold of that left foot. And again, we might just stay here. This is a lovely pose in itself. See if we can catch the inner side of the foot. So we're resting the thumb onto the ball of the foot, and we're kind of caressing that inner arch into the hand. We're going to inhale, draw the right arm out in front, pressing index finger and thumb together. A little energy mudra here. Press the foot into the hand, nice and active. And then if it feels good, if it feels stable, we're going to draw that left knee back, but try to keep it near the center of the body line. Reach that right arm forward, press into the foot for as long as we can. And when we can't get any higher, we're going to gently hinge forward. So reach that right arm, press back into the foot. Try to find a point of focus out in front, something that's not moving. For 3, lift for 2, And one, inhale, gently back to center. Lovely. We're going to bring that left knee out in front. Hug the left knee nice and tight into the body. And as we exhale, release it to come back onto the ball of that left foot. We might need to adjust that right foot forward. So coming into a nice high lunge, both hips face forward here. From here, drop the left heel down. We're going to come into our warrior two lunge. So again, right heel bisects the arch of the back foot. Extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. Bending into that right knee, drawing the inner thighs together. We're going to inhale, lengthen into the front leg, bring arms together overhead, gaze goes up. Exhale, bend into the right knee, warrior two lunge. Inhale, lengthen and rise. Relax the upper body, draw those shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, lower as we lunge. Continue with your own breath. Again, if you want to challenge the balance, the gaze is following the middle finger on that right hand. So that moving point of focus, that drishti point. Every exhale, maybe deepening a little bit more, but again, only if it feels good within the body. Last one, wherever we're at, full movement. And we're going to meet back in our warrior two. From here, we're going to bring the hands to the waist. With control, maybe in a few steps, we're going to bring that left foot. So it's just about 2 feet behind the front foot. Walk the right foot out to the right. Turn the body to the front so that both feet are facing forward here. So again, about 2 feet between the heel of the back and the toe of the left foot. Hands to heart here. And again, just feel that nice little bit of length into that left leg. Both front and back here. Try to engage the quads so we really feel it into the calves here as well. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, twist as deeply as we can to the right. And then we're going to rest the back of that left hand onto the outer part of that right leg. Bring the right hand to the hip. So again, it could be up here, just working into that twist. We might glide the hand a little bit lower, but try to keep the heart open. Maybe take the gaze over the shoulder. This is one of those poses I really avoid. And I know it's one of those ones I really need to work on a lot more. So again, sometimes those poses that we're most uncomfortable with are the ones that actually our bodies really need. So bear with us for 3. Twist a little bit more for 2. And 1. Inhale, slowly back to center. We're going to step that left foot back into our warrior 2. Extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down, and then gently cartwheel both hands down either side of the right foot. Coming onto the ball of the left foot, relax that left knee down on top of the toe. We're going to walk that right foot to the outside of the mat, bringing both hands inside, high on the fingertips, so we're not going to stay here for too long. Working the chest forward, working the shoulders back as we inhale, and as we exhale, just allow those hips release toward the ground. So we'll find this in the hips. We'll also find it a wee bit into the right hamstring here. Staying high in the body so we can really explore those hips, explore that space in the chest for 3, for 2, and 1. Hands come to the ground. We're going to tuck the left toe under, come off the knee, and really gently, we're going to draw that right foot back to meet left and come into our downward dog. Gently walk it out. Then we're going to come straight over to the other side. So come to stillness. We're going to inhale that left leg up. Looking forward, left foot into lunge, dropping right knee down on top of the toe. And then walk that left foot to the very outside of the mat. Again, staying high on the finger pads here. Draw the chest forward, draw the shoulders back. And as we exhale, allow the hips sink. So this time that knee is over the ankle and not tracking it in front. And just enjoy that nice release. Relax the head, relax the neck. Draw those shoulders away from the ears. For 3. For 2. And 1. Lovely. Plant the hands down. We're going to tuck the right toe under. Gently come off the knee. Bring that left foot back to meet right and slowly walk it out in our downward dog. 1 last time. Rocking and rolling, maybe swaggering those hips side to side, maybe looking out underneath opposite armpits. Getting a nice little release into the neck, the side waist, the hips, the lower back. Taking any little movement that feels good within the body. So not caring too much what it looks like. Just enjoying how it feels.
When you're ready, wherever we're at, meeting back in our downward dog. In stillness, we're going to release those knees down to the ground. Untuck the toes, come back onto the forearms. We're going to make a little pillow by piling one hand or one fist on top of the other and just rest the head here. And just take a couple of moments in our nice little child's pose variation. As we inhale, draw the breath as deeply as we can into the belly. And as we exhale, just sigh it out, release and let it go. So allow gravity, the weight of the body, the weight of the breath, bring us a little bit closer toward the ground here. Notice if you're holding on to any tension within the body, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional. And again, we're not ignoring it. Breathe into that space, acknowledge it. And as you exhale, just sigh it out, release and let it go, even if it's just for these few last moments on the mat. Whenever you're ready, we're going to gently press the hands into the ground, tuck the chin into the chest, and then walk those hands back toward the knees as we come to sit back up onto the heels. And we can either finish here, sitting back up onto the heels. We can come back to easy cross-legged or come to any seated variation that feels good for you this morning. And we'll finish like we started, opening the palms to the ceiling, sitting nice and tall, nice and strong. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale the arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. As you exhale, press the palms forward, release the breath, sigh it out and let it go. We'll do that twice more. So get a nice big cleansing breath. Inhale, fold. And then exhale, release. Last one. And then gently bring the hands to heart, press the palms together, close in the eyes, and just thank yourselves for creating a wee bit of space in your morning to come to the mat, to look after yourselves, to create some great energy, some lovely strength, and hopefully take that with you into the day and into the weekend ahead. And thank you, as always, for sharing your energy and practice with me. Namaste.